Okay, so when I was discussion director, I made pictures and like a little worksheet to like describe what my questions were. So the first one, it's like the person's like, oh, I'm 18, right? And then he gets shot and wounded. So my question is it okay to send 18-year-olds to war? And I don't think it's so. I don't advocate sending 18-year-olds because like especially in the book it talks a lot of that about them being like they don't have a life. Like they just started their life and now they got pushed into war. And if that war to ever end, what would they do with their future lives? Like they have nothing, they don't know what they would do. They barely, some of them didn't even finish high school. So they don't have a future. Their future is war. And like their generation is messed up because they took all of these 18-year-olds and so now you're just going to have this huge gap. And what are the girls supposed to do in that generation? Like just marry 60-year-olds? Like it's just so sad. Like all of these young kids, they barely start their lives and then they just die. And like especially in like the olden days, like a lot of like the kids, they had to help the families. So what were the families doing? Like Paul's family, like his mom was really sick and like the daughter was like trying to help and like the dad was trying to have work, but like times are hard and like they needed their boys there to help them. And like I I don't think that we should send 18-year-olds to jail. Or not to jail. I don't think we should send them to war. Okay, and then my second question is it's a picture of one of the soldiers in the house, and it's about like this picture or a scene in the book where they go and they capture this goose or bird or something or pig, and they cook it and burn it secretly. And so I said, so I asked, since they are serving their country, should soldiers be able to do as they please without punishment? And I don't agree with. I think that if they do something wrong, they should be punished because even though they are helping us and they are doing a good cause, it doesn't mean that they can just be bad people. They still have to abide by the same laws. And like in the book, it talks a lot about them like killing random pigs and all this stuff, but like it's not okay. Like murder is still murder. You can't just because you have a gun and you are like licensed to kill, and the government says like you should go kill people. That doesn't mean you should just kill out of your like just overkill. Like you should only kill if you have to. And like yeah, they were hungry, but I mean they were getting fed. It wasn't like a great meal, but sometimes like beggars can't be choosers. Like they had a meal. And they volunteered. Like they didn't volunteer to go kill things, and they like the government doesn't want you to go kill things or steal things. Like you have to obey the rules even though you are a soldier. Like you should be the best at following rules. But like then again, like I think you should give them leeway because I mean they are like willing to die for us and die for their country. We should, I don't know, like there's like it's a fine line because like yes they are soldiers, but still you should still follow the rules, and that like we can't judge them too harshly because we don't know what they're going through. We don't know like the emotional strain that war has on them. Like how are they emotionally? Like we don't know any of that because we're not in war. We don't understand what they're going through. So I don't know. It's a fine line, but generally saying, I don't think that I think they should be punished. Okay, and then my third question is a picture of them in like a forest or whatever, and there's a gun and like the boys and like all these boys. So my question is it okay to send people to war? And no, I don't think war is a good thing. Because all you're doing is depriving people of their lives and their right to live. And because like all war is just killing each other for personal gain or like country gain or whatever someone supposedly is supposed to gain from it. Because they talk about a lot in the book on how like no one really wants war. It's kind of like a fever. It just all of a sudden starts, and then all of a sudden half the world is involved in something that they didn't ever want. And if you don't want something, you shouldn't do it. So if you don't want war, you shouldn't go out killing people. Just kind of, I don't know. I don't really understand war, but another reason, like, it like dehumanizes each other. Like, you there's not, because you think of war and yeah, people die, but you don't think about like, oh, Billy Joe died. Oh, another boy named died. Like, you don't think about the individual. It's just they die. It just dehumanizes them, and you dehumanize, because then it doesn't hurt. Like, it doesn't affect you as much if you dehumanize things or dehumanize people, because then it's like, oh, you're not really killing a human. But if you thought about like, oh my gosh, I'm like killing my brother, you are a million times more likely to be like, wow, I don't want to kill anymore. That's terrible. Like, I don't want to kill my brother. But if you're like, oh, well, I'm going to go kill that enemy, then all of a sudden it's not. They're not human. It's just like in the Rwanda genocide, they called like all the Hutus called like the Tutsis, they called them like cockroaches. Like, we need to exterminate the cockroaches, because all of a sudden they weren't people. They weren't like people of their country. They weren't like people of the same place. They weren't neighbors. They were all of a sudden Tutsis. And it, because Tutsis, or not Tutsis, they were cockroaches. And cockroaches, oh, ew, we want to kill them. So they kind of like, it's dehumanizing. War is dehumanizing. And I think that's terrible. And like, war, like, I think that you could go about war like so many different ways. Like, you could talk to them, and like, you could talk to different countries that could do anything but kill each other. So yeah, I pretty much don't agree with any of my questions. But there it goes. There's my discussion questions.